Today we're talking about what it's like to be a Dragonborn in Faerûn, and why, behind the scales and warrior's stance, life is rarely easy. From the Sword Coast's wary markets to the mercenary camps of the spine of the world and the ash plains of the old empires where grudges smolder, Dragonborn draw the same look. Curiosity, turning to calculation. In Faerûn, standing out often means facing suspicion, exploitation, and hostility. But before we get into that, if you love the content we bring you here at Roll for Lore, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe on the video so we can keep bringing you the best lore from the realms you all know and love. Now that's out of the way, back to the video. Most Dragonborn in Faerûn are not native to Toril at all. They hail from Abeir. When the spell plague tore through the plains, entire swaths of Abeir, including the Dragonborn realm of Tymanther, were wrenched into Faerûn. Tymanther was shattered in the transition, and from its remnants arose Tymanther upon the ruins of Unther. The shift triggered an immediate refugee crisis, scattering Dragonborn across hostile lands. On Abeir, Dragonborn grew up without gods. Divinity had no role in their survival. Many clans actively discouraged worship, considering it a weakness, and the Platinum cadre faithful to Bahamut were ridiculed. Tiamat's cult was outlawed outright. This clashed directly with temple-dominated societies like Unther, where religion and civic life were inseparable. The result was a double bind, distrusted by kin for being too devout, and by neighbors for not being devout enough. When Gilgeam and Unther returned during the second sundering, he declared Dragonborn usurpers of his sacred lands. His armies, bolstered by demons from Grast, assaulted Chessenta and laid siege to Tymanther. They restored Untheric deities such as Nana-Sin, manifesting as a dragon turtle to destroy the Untherite navy, and Ishtar aided in the Dragonborn defense. The war escalated quickly. Night 26, 1486 DR, Gilgeam's return and declaration of war. Night 29, the attack on Chessenta, and by 1487 DR, the siege of Tymanther. The Dragonborn emerged victorious, but cemented Unther's narrative that they were occupiers. In 1479, DR, Tymanther's diplomatic efforts with Chessenta and Akanul collapsed after Abishai devils disguised as Dragonborn murdered Chessentan citizens. The public attack during trade talks ensured maximum political damage. The Tymari delegation was expelled, trade talks ended, and rumors of Dragonborn treachery spread. In the aftermath, Chessenta imposed trade restrictions. Neighboring states distanced themselves. Ports refused Tymantheran vessels, and mercenary contracts were withdrawn. The assassination had succeeded in isolating Tymanther politically and economically. In the months that followed, the incident became a rallying point for anti-Dragonborn rhetoric across the southern Inner Sea. Chessentan bards and playwrights wove the attack into cautionary tales, painting Dragonborn as duplicitous infiltrators, while merchant guilds quietly lobbied for permanent sanctions. Even Akanul, a nation with past common cause against Mulhorand, reduced contact to token diplomacy. This climate of suspicion not only strained Tymanther's economy, but also hardened regional attitudes toward Dragonborn travelers, setting the stage for the kind of enduring mistrust that fueled later hostilities, like those seen in the Second Sundering. Dragonborn culture remembers slavery under draconic overlords in Abeir, fostering a deep hatred of dragons. That hatred is mutual. Shortly before the Sundering, Scuthosian, a green dragon, led ash giant tribes to invade Tymanther. Vanquisher Tarhan and Madrash retaliated, besieged Ashhold, and slew Scuthosian. Such victories inspire pride, but also put all Dragonborn in the sights of vengeful worms. The Siege of Ashhold was not just a military campaign, but a defining moment in Tymanther's history. Tarhun and Midrash rallied disparate clans, forcing the Wurm into a final confrontation within his lair. While the victory ended the immediate threat, Scuthosian's allies, both draconic and giant, swore vengeance, and whispers spread that other chromatic dragons were taking note of the Dragonborn's growing reputation as dragon slayers. This lingering animosity would ripple into future conflicts, making the Dragonborn's defiance of dragonkind a constant source of looming danger, leading naturally into the challenges they faced during the Second Sundering. The Sundering reduced Tymanther to Jared Tymar, Jared Cathendi, and scattered outposts. Mulhorand sealed its frontier, and Unther's renewed aggression forced repeated evacuations. Settlements like Arush Ashwak were abandoned and rebuilt multiple times in a generation, draining resources and scattering families. The Second Sundering was a multi-year upheaval in which divine powers reshaped the world, returning nations like Unther and Mulhorand to the map while displacing or erasing others. For Tymanther, this meant sudden territorial compression as parts of its land shifted back to Abeir or were claimed by returning powers. Weather patterns changed, trade routes were disrupted, and the political vacuum in neighboring regions invited opportunistic incursions. These events didn't just redraw borders, they destabilized every aspect of Dragonborn society, from agriculture and resource distribution to clan governance and military strategy, setting the stage for religious and political pressures. Tymanther tolerated private worship, but mocked Bahamut's clergy and outlawed Tiamat's cult. In temple states like Unther, sanctioned religion controlled access to trade, protection, and political influence. This meant that Dragonborn living under such regimes faced a choice: conform to the dominant faith and risk alienating their own kin, or refuse and be cut off from essential civic and economic life. Bahamut's faithful in the Platinum cadre often faced ridicule and marginalization, while those suspected of ties to Tiamat could be arrested outright. It's a bit like living in a neighborhood where everyone's expected to show up to one specific block party, or else your mail mysteriously stops arriving. This religious gatekeeping often pushed Dragonborn toward work that skirted temple influence altogether, mercenary service chief among them. In the late 1480s DR, Dragonborn units in Chessenta and the Vilhan Reach were hired not for loyalty, but for their martial reputation. Shunned from temple-controlled trades, many found soldiering the only path to steady coin, their skill with arms turning them into highly sought-after, though rarely trusted, blades for hire. This shift in livelihood led to economic marginalization, which shaped the Dragonborn's role across Faerûn. By 1489 DR, Dragonborn mercenaries were common across Faerûn. With few other paths open, many took soldiering jobs, fighting in other people's wars, with little gain for their own communities. Their service was crucial in notable conflicts, such as border skirmishes between Chessenta and Threskel, and in defending Vilhan Reach city-states from pirate fleets. Their discipline and fearlessness in battle often turned the tide of engagements, earning grudging respect from commanders and the awe of infantry who fought beside them. Yet these battlefield feats rarely translated to acceptance off the field. This disconnect between martial contribution and societal treatment underscores the persistent prejudice shaping their role across Faerûn, leading directly into the everyday discrimination they face. Even in cosmopolitan centers, Dragonborn start from zero trust, and most Faerûnians meet them with caution, which still closes doors. In Chessenta, post-1479 DR, merchants charged extra tariffs or denied market stalls. In Mulhorand, post-Second Sundering edicts forced Dragonborn to register before entering cities. marking them as potential threats. Tymanther and traders in Hlondeth during the 1490s DR were subjected to restrictive dock fees and forced to offload goods only under watch by local militias. These targeted policies reinforced the perception of Dragonborn as outsiders, whose movements and livelihoods required constant oversight. Being Dragonborn in Faerûn means inheriting exile from another world, enduring systemic prejudice, and defending a homeland under constant threat. Wars, sabotage, religious divides, and economic exclusion keep them marginalized. This is the reality for Dragonborn in the realms. If you loved this video, you might also love one of our other videos here. Check out every major vampiric war in Forgotten Realms, or round 2 of the most evil deities for our run-through of the most terrifying evil deities we couldn't get to the first time. Until next time, adventurer, may your rolls be high and your loot legendary.